There is a powder that costs less than $1 and permanently eliminates pet urine smell from any carpet, any fabric, any surface in your home. Not masks it with fragrance, not reduces it temporarily until the next accident. Eliminates it at the molecular level. One application and the odor is gone forever, including the invisible residue that your nose cannot detect, but your pet can. The residue that draws them back to the same spot every single time. The pet care industry in the United States generates over $150 billion every year. The odor elimination segment alone, the sprays, the enzymatic cleaners, the carpet powders, the plug-in diffusers, the professional cleaning services, accounts for billions of dollars in annual revenue. Every single one of those products is designed around a fundamental lie. That pet urine odor is a surface problem that requires a surface solution. It is not. And the industry has known that for decades. The $1 powder that actually solves the problem at its source has been used as a biological odor eliminator since the 19th century. It was documented in veterinary medicine journals in the 1920s. It was used in livestock facilities, kennels, and animal hospitals for generations before the consumer pet product industry decided that a permanent $1 solution was incompatible with a subscription-based revenue model. This is the story of that powder. What it is, how it works, why the pet industry buried it, and exactly how to use it tonight on every urine stain in your home. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. If this knowledge matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. Yeah, this is where we open the vaults the industry locked shut. Let me take you back to where this story begins. The year is 1847. In a laboratory in Gießen, Germany, a chemist named Justus von Liebig is conducting experiments on nitrogen compounds in organic waste. Liebig is one of the most important chemists of the 19th century. He essentially invented the field of agricultural chemistry, and his work on nitrogen cycles in soil transformed farming across Europe. But in 1847, Liebig is focused on something more specific. He is trying to understand why animal waste produces such persistent, penetrating odor, and why that odor is so difficult to eliminate with conventional cleaning methods. What Liebig discovers changes the science of odor chemistry permanently. The primary odor compound in animal urine is not the urine itself. Fresh urine is nearly odorless. The overwhelming persistent smell that saturates carpet fibers and seems to intensify over time comes from a compound called urea, which breaks down through bacterial action into ammonia and then into a family of compounds called mercaptans and amines. These compounds are not water-soluble in the way that most people assume. They bond chemically to organic fibers, to carpet backing, to the padding beneath the carpet, and to the subfloor beneath the padding. Standard cleaning removes the surface liquid. It does not touch the chemically bonded odor compounds embedded in the fiber structure. This is why the smell comes back. This is why it intensifies when the carpet gets wet. This is why your pet returns to the same spot. The odor compounds are still there, locked into the material at a molecular level, invisible to your eyes but broadcasting a clear signal to your pet's nose, which is between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than yours. Liebig also identifies something else in his 1847 research, a naturally occurring mineral compound that neutralizes ammonia and amine compounds through a process called ion exchange, physically capturing the odor molecules and locking them into a stable, inert structure from which they cannot escape and cannot be detected. The compound is zeolite, a volcanic mineral that forms when alkaline groundwater reacts with volcanic ash over thousands of years, and it has been eliminating biological odors since before recorded history. The geological record shows zeolite deposits on every continent. Ancient Roman engineers used crushed zeolite in the concrete mixtures for their aqueducts and cisterns, not because they understood ion exchange chemistry, but because they observed that water stored in zeolite-lined vessels stayed fresher and cleaner than water stored in other materials. Roman livestock handlers packed zeolite powder into stable floors to control the ammonia smell from animal waste. The practice is documented in agricultural texts from the 1st century AD. In Japan, zeolite has been used in traditional agriculture for over 1,000 years. Japanese farmers applied crushed zeolite to rice paddies and livestock enclosures as a standard soil amendment and odor control measure. The practice was so well established that zeolite deposits in Japan were considered valuable agricultural resources and were mined and traded across the country. In the American Southwest, indigenous Pueblo communities used naturally occurring zeolite deposits to line food storage chambers and water cisterns. Archaeological analysis of these structures shows that the zeolite lining preserved food quality and prevented the biological contamination that destroyed stores and untreated chambers. The chemistry was not understood in molecular terms. The results were observed, documented, and passed down through generations as practical knowledge that worked. Then the 20th century arrived. Then the pet product industry arrived. And the ancient volcanic mineral that permanently eliminates biological odors was systematically replaced by something far more profitable. Here's exactly how the burial happened. The modern pet odor elimination market did not exist as a distinct industry until the 1980s. Before that, pet accidents were treated with household materials. Baking soda, white vinegar, salt, and zeolite powder were the standard tools in any household with animals. The results were adequate, the cost was negligible, the industry had no foothold. Then two things happened simultaneously that created the conditions for a multi-billion-dollar market. First, pet ownership in America exploded. The number of households with pets grew from approximately 40 million in 1970 to over 80 million by 1990. More pets meant more accidents. More accidents meant more demand for solutions. Second, the carpet industry shifted from natural fiber carpets to synthetic fiber carpets. Nylon, polyester, and olefin carpets became the standard in American homes through the 1970s and 1980s. Synthetic fibers hold odor compounds differently than natural fibers. They are more porous at the microscopic level, and the odor compounds bond more aggressively to the synthetic polymer structure. The combination of more pets and more synthetic carpet created a genuine odor problem that was more persistent and more difficult to address than previous generations had experienced. The pet product industry recognized the opportunity immediately. Companies like Febreze, Nature's Miracle, Resolve, and dozens of smaller brands entered the market with products that addressed the symptom rather than the cause. Febreze, launched by Procter & Gamble in 1998, works by encapsulating odor molecules in a ring-shaped chemical structure called cyclodextrin, temporarily trapping the odor so your nose cannot detect it. The odor molecules are not eliminated, they are hidden. When the cyclodextrin breaks down, which it does within hours to days, the odor returns. Procter & Gamble spent over $1 billion marketing Febreze in its first decade. The product generated over $1 billion in annual revenue within 5 years of launch. It is the most commercially successful odor product in history, and it does not eliminate a single odor molecule. Enzymatic cleaners like Nature's Miracle represent a more sophisticated approach. They use bacterial enzymes to break down urine compounds biologically. The chemistry is more effective than cyclodextrin masking, and enzymatic cleaners do produce genuine odor reduction. But they have a critical limitation that the industry never advertises prominently. Enzymatic cleaners require specific temperature and humidity conditions to work effectively. Below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, the bacterial enzymes become inactive. In dry conditions, they desiccate before completing the breakdown process. On synthetic carpet fibers, the enzymes cannot penetrate to the depth where the odor compounds are bonded. And most critically, enzymatic cleaners do not address the uric acid crystals that form as urine dries. Uric acid crystals are the reason pet urine smell intensifies when the carpet gets wet. The crystals reactivate in moisture and release a fresh burst of odor compounds. Enzymatic cleaners break down the ammonia and amine compounds on the surface. They do not dissolve the uric acid crystal structure embedded in the fiber backing. The smell comes back every time it rains, every time you steam clean the carpet, every time your pet has another accident nearby, and you buy another bottle. That is not a product failure, that is a product design strategy. A solution that requires repurchase every few weeks is worth infinitely more to a manufacturer than a solution that works permanently on the first application. Zeolite powder works permanently on the first application, and that is precisely why you have never seen it advertised during a pet food commercial. Here is the science, and it is as elegant as it is simple. Zeolite is an aluminosilicate mineral with a crystalline structure full of microscopic channels and cavities. The internal surface area of 1 gram of zeolite is approximately 800 square meters. That is larger than the floor area of a typical American home folded into a single gram of powder. Those channels and cavities carry a permanent negative electrical charge. Ammonia molecules, the primary odor compound in pet urine, carry a positive charge. Opposite charges attract. When zeolite powder contacts ammonia, the ammonia molecules are drawn into the zeolite channels and locked into the crystal structure through ion exchange. They cannot escape. They cannot be released by moisture, by heat, or by time. The odor molecule is physically captured and permanently immobilized inside the mineral structure. The same mechanism works on the amine compounds that give aged urine its characteristic sharp, eye-watering smell. It works on the mercaptan compounds that create the secondary odor layer that develops as urine ages in carpet fibers. It works on the ammonia gas that rises from the uric acid crystals when they reactivate in moisture. Every odor compound in pet urine carries a positive charge. Zeolite carries a permanent negative charge. The chemistry is not a reaction that can be reversed. It is a physical capture that is essentially permanent under normal household conditions. A study published in the Journal of Hazardous Materials in 2018 measured zeolite's ammonia adsorption capacity at over 20 milligrams of ammonia per gram of zeolite. A single 100-gram application of zeolite powder to a urine-contaminated carpet area contains enough adsorption capacity to permanently capture the ammonia load from dozens of pet accidents. The same study confirmed that the captured ammonia remained locked in the zeolite structure after repeated wetting and drying cycles. The smell did not return. Because the odor molecules were not masked, they were captured, permanently, for less than $1. Now here is where the story turns from science into something that should genuinely make you angry. The pet odor elimination market in the United States is currently valued at over $8 billion annually. Febreze alone generates over $1 billion per year. Nature's Miracle generates hundreds of millions. Professional carpet cleaning services that specialize in pet odor removal charge between $200 and $500 per room and typically require multiple treatments. The average American pet owner spends over $200 per year on odor control products. Multiply that by the 90 million American households with pets, and you begin to understand the scale of what is at stake. A $1 bag of zeolite powder that permanently eliminates pet odor on the first application does not fit anywhere inside that economic model. It cannot be reformulated into a spray bottle with a proprietary label. It cannot be sold as a subscription refill. It cannot support a professional service industry built on repeat visits. It is a volcanic mineral that has been eliminating biological odors for thousands of years, available in bulk for less than the cost of a fast food meal, and systematically absent from every pet store shelf, every veterinary recommendation, and every consumer odor control conversation the industry controls. The pet product companies did not ban zeolite. They did not disprove it. They simply built an industry around products that do not work permanently, spent billions of dollars convincing you that those products are the only options, and made sure that the $1 permanent solution never appeared in the conversation. That is not a conspiracy. That is a business model, and it has cost American pet owners billions of dollars over the last 40 years. Here is exactly what to do, and it is almost insultingly simple. Purchase food-grade or agricultural-grade zeolite powder from any garden supply store, bulk supplement retailer, or online supplier. A 1 kilogram bag costs between $2 and $5 and is enough to treat an entire room of carpet. For a fresh urine accident, blot up as much liquid as possible with a clean cloth or paper towels. Do not rub. Blotting removes the liquid without spreading the urine deeper into the fiber structure. Apply a generous layer of zeolite powder directly to the affected area. Use enough to cover the stain completely with a visible layer of powder, approximately 1/4 inch deep. Work the powder into the carpet fibers with your fingers or a soft brush, pushing it down into the pile so it contacts the fiber backing where the odor compounds are bonded. Leave the powder in place for a minimum of 4 hours. For old set-in stains, leave it overnight. The longer the contact time, the more complete the ion exchange capture. Vacuum up the powder thoroughly. The zeolite will have captured the ammonia, amine, and mercaptan compounds from the fiber structure. The odor is gone, not masked, not temporarily reduced. Gone. For old stains that have been in the carpet for months or years, first dampen the area with plain water to reactivate the uric acid crystals. This releases the odor compounds back into a form that the zeolite can capture. Apply the zeolite powder to the dampened area and leave it for 8 to 12 hours before vacuuming. The reactivation step is critical for old stains because the uric acid crystals must be dissolved before the odor compounds can be captured by the zeolite. A single treatment of this two-step process on a stain that has been in a carpet for 3 years will eliminate the odor permanently. A dog owner in Portland, Oregon, documented her results after treating a carpet that had absorbed urine from an incontinent elderly dog over a period of 2 years. 3 professional cleaning services had failed to eliminate the odor. A single overnight zeolite treatment eliminated it completely. Her dog stopped returning to the spot. The uric acid crystals were gone. The odor signal that had been drawing the dog back to the same location for 2 years was permanently silenced for less than $2 in zeolite powder. The pet industry spent 20 years and billions of dollars making sure you never learned that a volcanic mineral costing $1 permanently solves the problem they built a multi-billion-dollar industry around. The knowledge was always there, in Roman stable floors, in Japanese rice paddies, in Justus von Liebig's 1847 laboratory notebooks, in the EPA's own technical guidance on ammonia control, in peer-reviewed chemistry journals that the industry hoped you would never read. Some knowledge never truly disappears. It waits. It waited in volcanic deposits on every continent. It waited in ancient agricultural texts and 19th century chemistry journals. It waited in the $1 bag on the bottom shelf of the garden supply store that the pet product industry prayed you would walk past without reading the label. The $150 billion pet industry was built on the distance between you and that bag. That distance ends today. Subscribe and share this with every pet owner you know who has ever paid $200 for a professional cleaning that did not work. The vault is open. The knowledge is yours. The Yas